Okay, welcome friends. Today's topic is breaking news on coronavirus impacting real estate, but most importantly, what are the things that you can do so that you can thrive in this crisis? Okay, so let's just get started, dive into it with some of the things that are just happening lately that you need to be aware of that are impacting all of us. Okay, so we're gonna start with categories that pertain to all of us, so families. So this is what's happening. There's a coronavirus act that is allocating an amount to pay sick leaves for families, all families affected by the coronavirus. Second, the Senate has agreed to pay out $1,200 to American adults and $500 to dependents under 17 years old by April, okay? Number three, the Congress has agreed to provide unsecured credit for employers, any size, even self-employed individuals. So this is something that is very critical if you have or you're running your own business or are struggling, because they're going to give you unsecured credit, obviously to help pay for leases, employees, any expenses that the business incurs. Okay, next. There are already many tax changes in place. Among the most important ones are easing up the rules on withdrawals for pensions, IRS, and also there's going to be a delay, okay, of payments due for business tax purposes. And also they're going to suspend the limit on interest expenses deductions, okay, because usually businesses have a limit that's going to be removed for 2020. Let's continue. Now, the tax deadline, it's not going to be in April. It has been extended to July 15. So keep that in mind. So don't rush to finish your taxes. The new deadline is July 15. Now, let's cover some of the consumer transactions changes that are impacting everyone. So there's going to be direct rental assistance for families who have lost their job. So this is going to help them obviously continue to live where they are. And also this will help homeowners who are in financial distress by losing their jobs. So this is going to be very, very important that has been approved. Next one. There's a moratorium for 60 days. This is going to end May 16th. So this is going to prevent people from going into foreclosures or being evicted. So this is going to be very critical. That is amazing for people in financial distress. So keep that in mind, especially if you're a landlord or if you're being affected directly by the coronavirus financially. Next. The Student Loan Administration is going to temporarily waive all interest on the students' loans. So this is going to be great assistance for most college students. And then now let's get into the real estate aspect. What are the immediate changes that are happening? There's going to be a deadline relief. For those of you who are doing 1031 exchanges, meaning that you sell a property and to prevent a tax event, meaning to pay taxes on the gains, there's going to be a delay on the 45-day period that they give you to identify a property. Okay, so that's going to be extended. And also they give you 6 months to close on a property. That will also be impacted. And then finally, if you're a real estate brokers, your renewal date has moved to September 30th, okay? So that is amazing news for those of you. Don't panic if you need to renew your broker's license. That's been extended. Now, since we're in the real estate topic, let's talk about the things that you need to focus on and who is getting affected the most, okay? So this is going to be a great opportunity for you to thrive. But first of all, I want to talk about different type of investors, okay? For those of you, let's cover the people who are being affected the most and things that you probably need to be very cautious and stay away from right now. So if you're doing flips, okay, flippers are being hit the hardest. Why? Because if they're starting to flip. You know, most villages are closing down. So if you want to get a permit, do a pre-sale inspection, obviously that's not going to happen. If you already have your flip under progress and then you're ready to put it on the market, hold off. Just put that on temporary status on the MLS because MBRED will not take that into account, okay? Because if you leave it as active in the MLS right now, people are in panic mode, so they're not gonna be going out to see your property, therefore they're not gonna buy your property, and your property is gonna sit in the market for a long time, so it burns the listing. Therefore, just switch or have your broker switch the status from active to temp or temporary off the market, and then MBRED will make sure that even if it's on temp, it's not counting towards the total market time, okay? Another area that is being hit hardly by the coronavirus is short-term rentals or Airbnb. So if you're thinking about doing those, please hold off or move them into regular rentals, and also commercial real estate. You know, strip malls or commercial storefronts are being hit tremendously because, as you know, there are going to be a lot of small businesses primarily going out of business, okay? And obviously that's going to impact many hourly workers losing their jobs. Therefore, commercial real estate is being hit as well very, very hard. So now, what can you do to weather the storm? What are the things that you need to focus on? First of all, number one, don't panic. Number two, focus on rentals. Right now, let's talk about what you need the most in a crisis. You need cash, you need liquidity. So guess what gives you that? Rentals. You've got to focus on rentals. So right now, what's going to happen is that property prices are still high. Why? Because since 2008, we've had a shortage of housing. Therefore, prices are high. Why? Because also demand is high. So the supply of housing has not kept up with the demand. Therefore, prices are still high, but it's going to correct very soon, okay? Why? Because a lot of people we see in the near horizon are gonna be losing their jobs. Even though the government is gonna assist them, many of them are gonna go into foreclosure, unfortunately. So we're gonna see a wave of foreclosures coming down the pipe in about 6 months to 12 to a year, okay? So what's gonna happen is that we're gonna have a lot more motivated sellers, okay? So obviously, please exercise empathy because these sellers are gonna be going through emotional and financial distress. So we need to make sure that we empathy when we reach out to them. So there are gonna be great opportunities for us to do rentals. But this is the thing, think about our objective. Our objective as investors is to provide a solution to distressed owners who are in financial distress. They need to sell their home because otherwise they might lose it. So we are there to help them. How are we gonna help them? We're gonna buy their property. Obviously, we're gonna make them a fair offer, but at the same time, it needs to make sense for us investors to get a great deal, right? And hopefully turn that property into a rental so that we cash flow, okay? That's gonna be very critical. Exercise empathy and focus on rentals. Now, since we're talking about rentals, there are many markets that you can focus on, right? So we've talked about areas that are very affluent, A areas, very expensive. B, C areas are the bread and butter, and then we have the D areas, right? Where the infrastructure is lacking, your safety might be at risk. So guess what areas you need to focus on. It's gonna be very simple. So you need to be focusing on B, A areas for rentals. Why not CD areas? Because those areas are being hit the most. Why? Because most hourly workers live in CD areas. So if they lose their job, they won't be able to pay the mortgage. They're not going to be able to pay the rent. Therefore, if you have rentals or you're thinking about buying rentals in CD areas, please be very cautious. Our recommendation is for you to focus on B areas, A areas for rentals. so long, obviously, the numbers make sense. Okay, so that is going to be very, very critical for you to focus in these BA areas today for rentals. Also, take this time to take a step back and learn all the concepts that you didn't fully cover in the past. Okay, when you were on the go, this is the perfect time, not only to spend obviously quality time with your family, but also to learn everything that there's to know. And in fact, we're doing a boot camp next Sunday. We're gonna do a 3-hour real estate boot camp. I'm gonna give it all to you, okay? The blueprint for freedom, not only financial freedom, but also freedom of time. Make sure that you join. It's the last Sunday of this month, okay? So it's gonna be a Sunday, 1 p.m. I wanna give it all to you. So this is the perfect time for you to identify weaknesses and then fill them in, okay? So we're gonna give you everything that you need to know. I wanna make sure there's nothing in your way for your success, okay, training-wise. In addition to that, we're gonna be covering the most important topics, how you identify great deals. Not only that, but secure them, secure the deal, and also secure funding for them. So that's gonna be the main focus of the bootcamp that is coming up on Sunday. So make sure you RSVP, join us next Sunday, 1 p.m. Now, let's talk about buyers. What's happening with buyers? There's gonna be a great number of buyers coming into the market. You might wonder why. Because right now, interest rates are at the very lowest historically. So what happens when interest rates are very low? When interest rates are very low, that gives buyers a greater purchasing power. So they have the ability to buy more. That's also one of the reasons that property prices are not going to plummet like they did in 2008. They're going to correct themselves. They're going to go down, but slightly. Not like in 2008, okay? Because we're going to have more competition. A lot more buyers are going to be coming into the market. But the great news is that most buyers are retail buyers. So they're going to be focusing on MLS properties, while you should be focusing on properties that are off market. So they're technically not for sale. So I'm talking about probates, pre-foreclosures, upcoming auctions, REOs, vacant properties. Those are the pipelines where you need to be focusing on right now. Not only that, but obviously we want to intercept those properties before they go to the judicial auction at the courthouse. And in fact, all the judicial auctions have been postponed for a month, okay? So this is even a perfect time for you to reach out to owners who are already in financial distress, right? Because the objective is for us to intercept the property before it hits the judicial auction, okay? You don't wanna show up at the judicial auction, right? Because it's too risky, too many investors overbidding for the property. You have to pay cash, you buy sight unseen, whereas if you intercept the property before, guess what? You not only have zero competition, you can use financing for the purchase, you get to see the property from the inside, so all the benefits of the world. So it's a win-win for the seller and for you as investor. Okay, so keep that in mind. So there are gonna be more buyers coming into the market. However, they're gonna be focusing primarily on retail properties, so MLS, and we wanna focus on off-market deals, okay? We're gonna be finding amazing deals off-market next Sunday, 1 p.m., okay, and analyzing them in seconds. Now, let's talk about people who are focusing on wholesales. How is that gonna be impacting the industry for wholesalers? Well, it's good news. Why? Because there are going to be more distressed sellers. So that's great news for wholesalers because they're going to have more opportunities to lock down great deals, okay? And obviously, that's going to help all of us investors. And in fact, ChicagoDealVault partners up with the top wholesalers in Illinois, in Chicago, because we want to make those great deals available to all of you when you're part of the network. Okay, so wholesaling is going to be awesome in the next months. So if you're thinking about strategies, right, to take at this point? Well, you only have three strategies in real estate. You either buy and hold, fix and flip, or wholesale. You should be focusing on primarily number one, rentals. And you know, that's the true power of real estate, owning rentals, right? Because you're leveraging from other people's money, other people's time, by creating passive income for yourself and your family. And you should also include wholesaling, okay? Wholesaling, you're not actually buying the property, you are just locking the property, you know, getting that under contract, and then we're reassigning the rights of that contract to a cash buyer, obviously for a profit. Okay, so keep that in mind, because there are many properties that you should skip. For instance, let me give an example. If it's a great deal in a great neighborhood, but it's a good rehab, right? So unless you have a construction company or construction background, you should skip those deals altogether. You need to focus on small properties that require light to medium rehab. Okay, what do I mean by that, small to medium? So the property size should be 1,500 square feet or less. The rehab should be no more than 35,000. That's light to medium, okay? So you're touching cosmetic rehab system. So you're gonna be doing flooring, painting, updating the kitchens, the bathrooms, light fixtures. The things that you are not doing is you're not putting new windows, new roof, new mechanicals, new electric, new plumbing. No, you're not doing any of that, because anytime you touch one of those systems, your rehab goes up by 10,000. So you've got to keep it under control, under about, hopefully 25,000, okay? 25,000 to 35,000 is light to medium on a property that is 1,500 or so square footage, and it's in a B, C area, okay? Once you go to the A areas, obviously the rehab is gonna be a lot more. Just as a rule of thumb, take the square footage of the property and multiply that by 2 or $20. That's gonna give you a rough idea of what your rehab is gonna be for if it's light to medium, okay? That is very important. So friends, I just wanted to give you the breaking news on how the coronavirus is impacting the real estate industry, and also the things that you need to focus on today to thrive in this crisis, because it's going to be a huge opportunity for all of us as investors. So what I would like to do now is open up the floor for questions.